My name is Tim Mentz. We have a company named Makoche Woopi. The translation is Earth Writings. And today we're standing in a section of the DAPL corridor. And as you look towards the east here, that's going towards 18, you're looking at 1806 over the hill, the road. And today, previously there was some action here where Dakota Access has come in through their corridor easement on the west side. This is looking west, and they dropped their machinery approximately almost 2 miles, mile and a half, maybe a mile and a half this way west on the David Myers property, and came this way east, traveling east, scraping a foot of ground, basically leveling the ground, and that's part of their project objective. But the main thing here today is that there was portions of these sites that we had just filed Friday in U.S. District Court in Washington, D.C. as an amendment to the declaration that I provided initially August 24th when the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe filed suit on in the form of a preliminary injunction to stop the Dakota Access. Today we're looking at an area here that has been scraped. It's a 150-foot corridor. There was multiple sites within this corridor section, and we were never allowed to get right inside the 150 corridor, but we recorded outside looking in, and we had 82 features along this corridor, and 27 graves were identified within this area. And this site in particular was one of the 5 that I mentioned in my declaration. It was Chantet Inzapa Wapaha. It's the coup stick of the Strongheart Society, and these types of sites are really hard to find. And this type of site here was there's very limited recordations within the Great Plains here, but the tribes have very well knowledge of these types of sites where our people came to these types of areas. And in this case, we have 2 stone rings, and actually 3 half rings, what we call arcs or crescent moons. It's really actually the handle of the dipper, where the Nachas or the Straight Lands people stand to fast. And there's 3 of them here because they put their mark on the ground through stones. The stones are about that big, and they're placed very specific to where the setting of this contour of the land is. If you notice, there's a little drainage here. Every site that we have culturally is linked to water. Miniwichoni, again, that's what you've been hearing with this issue with Dakota Access. While it's very evident here with the little drainage here, there's a spring right down the hill here. And how it's tied to this site is through the people that brought their spirituality to these areas and made pledges, 2 forms. On this hill right up here off to my right, when we first got here August 28th, we immediately seen 2 burials on the crest of the hill, and that's within the corridor. This area right here has a burial that's probably right underneath that pile of soil there. It cut halfway into the site. It actually took out the Strongheart coup stick. It's a line of rock that goes approximately 8 to 9 feet, and it swirls. It's also called a wagamuha for the Strongheart Society, and special uses for that I can't explain right now. But what is important is here that these are very limited in recordation. In other words, there's not too many, if any. These are probably the only ones that actually North Dakota has seen in the State Historic Preservation Office's database. Archaeologists, they don't see these. The archaeology firm that came through here walked over these. They do not have a connection that we have to our spiritual walk of life in relation to how our society members and leadership came to these types of areas to give those types of commitments or pledges. Today we're looking at an area that has totally destroyed one part of our society's walk of life, where pledges were made, where gifts that were given from Tanka. And now we are star people. So what's up on top is down below, and vice versa. And today we just seen one of the many star constellations that are here and up along this area, particularly on the other side here, there's a huge dipper. And that's a star constellation that we call Wopila Tanka, the dipping of the water as it pours out. And what that does, it signifies Mini Wichoni coming to Earth. When it places itself on the Earth, it brings to life a spiritual, if you call it, as archaeologists call it, an effigy of this constellation that in the cup is the only place where a chief can fast, that can vision quest, that can give his commitment, not a pledge. This is the pledging of the Straight Lands people. We're talking about the hook staff, what you call the eagle staff. That's the only place where a chief can be actually fast to give his commitment to the 7th level of leadership. That's right over the hill, and that's also taken out. So what we've seen here is a large destruction of area that occurred here just a couple hours ago, and to me it was intentional. They knew what they were doing. They were flying over us as we were out here recording. They were actually looking and taking pictures of us from not only a helicopter, but a plane also. They were here every day above us. So they knew exactly when we were going out. The cops were sitting there. They were recording our exit when we were leaving. So this was a planned, intentional, I believe, part of their strategy in order to stop what we did just Friday. We filed, again, an amendment to the declaration that I provided, and we provided all these drawings to court, 82 of them. And when we filed that Friday, a lot of things happened. But that's all I have to share right now. I hope that we can resolve this in a good way. Hopefully, the spiritual part of it will come to some type of learning and understanding that archaeologists, they just can't write off these anymore. They cannot describe our spirituality, they can't describe our walk of life, and they surely cannot decide what is important to us. We only can do that. Part of this, what you're seeing here, is proprietary information. We just don't openly go out and we explain this to the archaeologists that this is what you're looking at. It's intellectual property rights. And now I hope we're going to come to an understanding that we need to change the laws. We need to have the understanding of the states, how they get involved with federal projects also. PSC accepted the reports. State Historic Preservation Officer accepted the reports. There was limited archaeology surveying work doing here. And it really actually, this 150-foot corridor is only the direct effect. What you're looking at, that scraped area, is the direct effect under what you call Section 106. The indirect effect goes up to 400 feet. So this is a 400-foot corridor here with a 150-foot ribbon right dead center of it. And this is what they reviewed. The archaeologists reviewed this 400 feet coming off the center line right here. They walked over this. They had to have. Because that 400 foot is brought right close to that hill right there. Another 150 feet up. They don't know what they're looking for. They should stay out of the game. This is ours. This is our land. These are our properties. This is our intellectual property rights. And the laws need to change. Thank you.